wanted to take a few minutes and walk you guys through some updates we've made. When we did our last training, we talked about systems and how one of our goals for our leadership team in this next season is to build systems. And so we created kind of a rough first draft template. And I've just been getting great questions and people asking for more clarity on, hey, how do we build that? And what are some ideas? And what's the philosophy? And what is a system? And so we wanted to take some time in this training and just kind of walk you guys through what is a system, the philosophy, and then give you guys some quick examples. So this is going to be a quick training, and then I'm happy to help with any other specific questions you have. So let's dive right in. First of all, what is a system? And we've talked about this a lot as a team, but system is kind of an organizational word that we throw at problems. So we're like, oh, there's a problem. Well, we need a system. And essentially, guys, systems, at least for us, this is how we define a system. A system is a set of connected processes that deliver a piece of the vision. So we don't want to just have systems for system's sake. We're not just trying to create documents for documents' sake. We want to create clarity so that people can lead and so that people on our teams feel equipped and confident to win, and so that all of us can work together to deliver the piece of the vision that our team is uniquely equipped to provide. So each of us, we each have a unique team. Production has a piece of the vision they deliver. eKids has a piece of the vision that they deliver. And so basically what we want to do is within those teams, when we're talking about building a system, we want to create a set of connected processes, documented, well thought through processes, which is basically just a step-by-step way to do something. That's a process. And so you're going to create a set of those or a kind of a small little family of those processes that work together to deliver the piece of the vision that your team uniquely delivers. And so that's something to wrestle through and talk to your director about. We've already written some of that stuff out in the vision booklet for 2017, what each department delivers. But here's really the philosophy, guys, behind systems. Systems, they exist to empower our teams to take care of people while still crushing the details. And we want to do both. We want to take care of the people on our teams. We want to take care of the people we're serving and reaching within, Element Church and outside. But we also there are details that are important. The details matter. And so we want to be able to do both. And we think systems really help us do that. So with that in mind, we want to ask all teams to organize around and consistently approve a single written system document that's composed of three things. I'm going to walk you through those. Number one is team orientation. Number two is role descriptions. And number three is a step-by-step process. Okay, step-by-step processes. So, you don't need 16 different systems for your team. You really need one system. And within that system, you're going to have a team orientation. You're going to have some role descriptions for, when somebody plays a role on the team, this is what they do. These are the expectations. And then the third is you're going to have some step-by-step processes. So let's dive into what that would actually specifically look like. Now, within this template that's kind of been created, I have to give a shout out because I created a rough draft version. This is 2.0, and much of the content from this is taken from our very own Drew Sartorius, who's stepping into the gathering director seat. So shout out to Drew. Excellent, excellent job. And essentially what Drew is doing is he's organizing the system using the built-in tools of Google Docs. So if you create within Google Docs, you go up here, and if you have this template, it'll kind of automatically do it for you. But you have a title, and then you have headings. And basically, if you use the headings on any page, it will add whatever you put as a heading into this table of contents. And then every time you change a heading, you click this button to update it, and boom, it updates. So this table of contents gives you a rough idea of what we're looking for roughly within a system. And let's say this. Okay, every team is going to have some unique needs, some unique processes, some unique maybe training aids or visual things that will be needed. That's okay. You can tweak this to make it work for you, but this just gives you some good clarity, some good lanes, some good examples to run in. And so first of all, guys, you're going to want to outline, hey, what aspect of the vision does this team and this system deliver? And again, for example, we talk about, in Drew's team, the production team, we talk about how they're creating an excellent, relevant, distraction-free environment where people can know God, or just, a space where people can know God. That's a Sunday morning. And so working through that so you can quickly cast vision to your team in a specific way for how what they're doing in this system actually, accomplishes an aspect or a piece of the vision. So we've got the vision, we've got team orientation, and there's some thoughts in here about what you can include in there. We've got team position descriptions or role descriptions, and then we have processes. And processes are really composed of a couple things. One is visual aids. So we live in a visual world and people learn visually. So you might include pictures or diagrams or even links to videos in this part. And then you're just going to want to create specific checklists. So, and then underneath that, as you guys can see, we've got process 1, process 2, process 3. So you're like, okay, that looks great. Here's the vision, here's the team orientation, here's team position descriptions. There's some great stuff in here. Again, I've actually put the link to this document in the footer of this video. So feel free to access that. But you're like, you know what, all this is great, but I need to see it in action. I'm a really visual person. Well, again, thanks to Drew, we can do that real quick. So I'm going to pop you over here into some production team documentation Drew's created, but kind of give you a visual for what we're talking about. So, so as we start to scroll down here, it looks like Google is not loading for me. Here we go. So as you guys can see here in Drew's documentation, we have, first of all, the win or the vision, right? And so he walks us through what that is, can cast vision for that. Then we have position information. So now Drew's outlined, okay, here's what it means to be a service coordinator, description, expectations, responsibilities. You've got a sound engineer, you've got a video engineer, you've got a lighting engineer, and all of this stuff is documented. The expectations are made clear. And then now we come to the first process. So the first process for Drew's team is a setup process, and that might be the same for many of you. And so first, you have a setup process, and Drew's broken this down by role. So within that setup process, you have a service coordinator checklist, you have a sound engineer checklist, you have a video engineer checklist. And so, Drew's kind of organizing that a certain way. Here's the thing. Again, for your team, you might need to organize this information a little bit different based on your leadership, your people, the goals of what you're accomplishing. But I think it's still helpful to know that, you've got a setup process, and then within that process, you have different checklists. Now, one thing to note is Drew's actually separated out in his system an entire section at the end that I'll take you guys to real quick for visual aids and diagrams. So as you guys can see, he's got some diagrams of the cases and, how the trusses get set up, how lights get set up and where they get pointed. So there's some amazing diagrams in here. Drew's just chosen to house all of those and organize them in one place at the end. You can do that as well, or you can just put those visual aids right in with the process. And so as you can see, production has a setup process. They've got a pre-service process. They have a, let's see here, they've got a during service process. They've got a teardown process, I'm guessing is coming next. And then Drew actually has some other training, offsite processes that happen midweek. There's just some amazing documentation here. So again, shout out and props to Drew. Yours doesn't have to look like this. His is pretty detail heavy and may not need to be as extensive as this, but really here's again the win. We need to get clarity for our teams so that we can empower them to care for people, to care for other members of the team, and the people that they're serving on while still crushing the details. And so we think that if we take the time to clarify the vision, we take the time to orient people correctly. So here we go, ready? Vision. We take the time to orient people correctly to the team. We make sure they have clear role descriptions and know what's expected of them. And then we break the pieces of that system down into processes with visual aids and checklists. Man, I think you're going to have some great clarity for your team. Again, let me know if you guys have questions, and so excited for how this is going to accelerate the vision of Element Church so we can reach more people and create spaces where they can know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and change the world. Love you guys. See y'all soon.